Welcome to the Clear Voice Podcast. I'm your host, James Groom, and this podcast is brought to you by Clear Career Professionals. Today I'm here with President Michael Bays of Clear Career Professionals. Michael, how's it going today?
Doing great, James. We're really excited to talk about this position podcast with the city of Dalhart and really get to know them and their team better.
What position are we recruiting for over in Dalhart?
Yeah, we are able to recruit for their economic development director. We had the opportunity to recruit for their city manager position, I guess a little over a year ago. And, we're really fortunate to have JJ Oznick that we're going to be talking with here soon, hire us to assist with this economic development director recruitment. And I'm just really excited to be working with JJ and his team.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to meeting them.
Good deal. Well, if you don't mind, James, I'll introduce JJ and had talked a little bit about him. Like I said, we had done the recruitment for Dalhart, and JJ was the one selected. And he has some amazing skill sets that really blended well with what the community needed. And so when he reached out and gave us the opportunity to work with the team on the recruitment, we jumped at the opportunity. And I'm leading this recruitment that we're kicking off. And so I'm happy to welcome JJ to the podcast. And JJ, I'll give the floor to you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what initially drew you to Dalhart?
Like you said, about a year ago, y'all opened up your recruitment for the city of Dalhart. When the job first came open, I had some people reach out from the city manager world and say that I really need to take a close look at this job. It's a very tight-knit community, small town atmosphere, which, I grew up in a town about this size. I have all raised my children in a town this size. Was just really drawn to it. It's a very, very family-oriented community, which for me and my family was a big draw.
All right. Can you talk to us a little bit about the other person who's going to be joining us this morning on the podcast? I believe John is there with you, and he works on the EDC board. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. John Porter is with me, born and raised in Dalhart, went to college like everybody else, did some adult things, decided to come home and raise his family.
Hey, John, welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been on the EDC and what drew you to accept the position?
Yes. John Porter, as JJ mentioned, born and raised here in Dalhart, Texas. I'm actually a fourth generation, and my son is a fifth generation Dalhart Texan. Family came here from Indiana in 1908, and so we've been here about 117 years, which is a very, very long time. My great uncle and grandfather started a grocery store in the 1930s, so right during the middle of the Dust Bowl, which was, if you're familiar with Dalhart, we were kind of the epicenter for that. So the Depression, Dust Bowl, and they were willing to be entrepreneurial and start one of the first full-service grocery stores here in Dalhart. It was established in the 30s and eventually closed its doors in the 80s, as so many other businesses did during that time period. But one of the things that our family has done since 1908 and continues to do is farm and ranch here in Dalhart. And as you know, Dalhart's a very big agricultural community, and that's kind of what it was established on. But in addition to that, it's got a lot of commerce, and so it's a great place for agriculture, for commerce, for all the things that drive business and development. And so just with my family history, with my personal history, as JJ mentioned, I went to school down at Texas A&M. And after school, I actually went up to Washington, D.C. and worked for 12 years there on Capitol Hill. And so got familiar with what folks in other communities across Texas and across the nation were doing from a development standpoint. And when I was approached about being on EDC, I was very interested in that. And so I've been on the EDC now for about a year and a half. And it's been a great experience, great time, and just really enjoying learning about the opportunities that exist here, not just for businesses, but for, as JJ mentioned, for families and for this community to continue to grow and thrive. And I think we're just kind of at the forefront of different possibilities. So we're excited about bringing in an EDC director that has the same passion that we have, and look forward to working with whoever this person might be. And so I'll turn it back over to y'all.
Well, that sounds great. That's amazing. I mean, Dalhart has some amazing history in Texas, and it's pretty awesome that your family's been a part of that for all those years. So that's pretty amazing. Can you guys tell us is there something that makes Dalhart unique other than what you've already mentioned?
Yeah. What makes it unique to me is how close this community is to each other. I've never lived in a community that when there's a need for something or someone needs help, whether, it's financially, help doing something, the job always gets done. The community really pulls together and makes certain that everybody's needs are met and they have what they need. And I've never experienced that before.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I see consistently kind of eroding away is that community spirit. So it's awesome that you guys are able to keep that and pull together in times of need. So John kind of covered the agricultural roots that you guys have. You guys are pretty well established up there as far as location. How does that help with the economic development where you're located at?
It's kind of a blessing and a curse. We have two major highways that go through the middle of town. We have rail. That is big rail. I really don't know how would I say that?
Well, it's the two major railways in America, Union Pacific and the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. It does create, like JJ said, a lot of opportunity, but also some restrictions at the same time. But I think that to your point about strategic position, it's very much a strategic position in the sense that commerce and travelers alike are coming through here in groves on a daily basis. And does that put pressure on, our highways and other things that we do here? Yes, but it also provides a great opportunity for our businesses as well. I think the other side of that coin is we're more of a pass-through location versus a stop-and-stay location or a destination per se. And so what we were thinking through, and I'm probably jumping ahead here in the questions, but what we're thinking through is how do we get more people to stop and stay, right? How do we make Dalhart more of a destination versus a pass-through? Because we already have a lot of people coming through, but we just don't have a whole lot of people staying for a day or an extended period of time, and which would drive more economic development here in the town. So
I guess you would say that the economic developer director position would be helping you guys kind of look for that tourism hook and kind of push that through as an opportunity for them.
Yeah, I would say so. That'd be one aspect of it.
Definitely. Can you tell me kind of what this position's day-to-day would look like, and why is it so critical for Dalhart's future?
The day-to-day, the economic development director will be based out of City Hall. What I would like to see, and I think some of the board would like to see, is get out, get involved in the community, go meet with local business owners, see what their needs are, what we can do better as a city and an economic development corporation to help meet their needs. Research grants, because we all know that grants play a very pivotal role in this market today. I would say that would be mostly their day-to-day. We just really want somebody that's very outgoing, business-oriented person.
Does Dalhart currently have incentives that the economic development director would have access to bring in those businesses, or would that be something that they would need to get established?
No, we do have some incentives. We do all kinds of business expansions. What we really don't have is we don't have any 380 agreements. We haven't done any PIFs or TIFs or anything of that sort. I wouldn't say that wouldn't be off the table, but that would be something for the board to decide. We really have every tool that they need to be successful here.
Yeah. So it sounds like Dalhart's really open to business friendliness, the local businesses, and also attracting others in. And I'm assuming you guys would look at any of the legal options to do that and decide if that's the best course for y'all.
Most definitely. Anything that we can do legally, like you said, I think we're open to.
JJ, as city manager, how would you describe your leadership style, and what do you feel is essential to building successful professional relationships within your team?
My leadership style is I'm more of a coacher. I try to not get too involved, I guess you would say. I try to guide in the direction we need to go. I'm a big believer in people learn by doing and not a micromanager by any sorts.
What do you feel is essential to building successful professional relationships within your team?
Honesty. Honesty is the best thing. I'm a big believer in if you mess up, just fess up, and how can we fix it? Let's not try to hide anything. And I think honesty is the key to relationships.
Yeah, relationships I found personally is one of the most important things, and honest communication and building that trust is just fundamentals of that. So we talked a little bit about how the community comes together. What would you describe the working environment inside the organization, the core values of Dalhart, the city team is?
We are very family friendly here. Everybody's got kids that works for the city, all in school age. If they have something at the school I expect that if we're not just slammed, they better go see their kids. I believe in a work-life balance. We are very flexible. We are geographically challenged, so I believe that trying to make the best work-life balance, getting to see your family, your kids' activities plays a very big role in our team culture here.
And JJ, what I noticed when I was out there working on the city manager recruitment, when I was able to meet with different folks from the community, I did see that vibrant community spirit that you're talking about, but also the blend of how there's so much professionalism, whether that's related to the agriculture or even the hotel industry out there. You guys have some amazing hotels when you pull off the highway. I think the unique thing that most folks don't understand is you guys are receiving probably thousands of visitors that are coming through, as they transverse, either to, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado, and you're one of the last pivotal stops on that journey there. What do you think, from your standpoint, could a person come into this role and just really try to shape Dalhart's future, not taking away from its past, but really just transforming the community, whether that's adding housing developments and or other industries and things like that? Is that something that the city would be really excited about?
Oh, yeah. They would have every tool in their bag to succeed. And actually, you brought up a housing development. The EDC does own 33 acres that we're in negotiations with a contractor at this time to put in a new housing development. I think we have room for about 114 houses to put on this 33 acres that they have. That is one of the biggest needs that we have. We are in a unique position that we could put 100 houses, affordable homes on the ground and sell them with no problem, because I believe the last statistics that I saw, about 45% of our workforce drives from other towns to come to work here because we just do not have the housing to accommodate them.
Sounds like a lot of opportunity there.
Just to add to what JJ's saying is, as far as the possibilities for this new EDC director, this housing development is one of them, and that would reshape the way our town is, because as he mentioned, 45% of the workforce is driving in. If those people had the opportunity to live here, I think they would. And something that I didn't mention earlier is we have a really good school district. I mean, our schools are top notch. We have a great superintendent who leads the way with a wonderful school board. But in addition to an independent school district, we also have 2 private schools. And for a town our size, that's not really a typical thing that happens. There's private schools in Amarillo and in Lubbock, but in a town, the size of Dalhart, we're the only one that really has 2 private schools as different options for families and students alike. In addition to that, we have many, many churches. Depending on what your faith or religion is, there's different options for you whenever it comes to a church family. A couple of other things that I just think really make Dalhart unique, but also provide it a great opportunity for this new EDC director, is that we have great community events that draw people in, not just here in Dalhart, but from the surrounding areas. We have this theater called the Loretta Theater that hosts different music events, different theater events, and this is throughout the year. And it's in our downtown, which is historic. It's unique. We wish more people would turn off the highway and come into our downtown. We have many, many other community events. And so we have Little League events with your typical baseball and softball and soccer and basketball throughout the year, and then golf camps in the summer at our golf course, 18-hole golf course. Not many small communities can say they have all these different attractions and possibilities. I think it does make Dalhart very unique, even though we're in the middle of nowhere, but we're on your way to somewhere, right? It does provide some great opportunities, and I think a lot of folks would overlook Dalhart because they think we are in the middle of nowhere, but it does provide some really neat opportunities that somebody, whether they're young, middle-aged, or on the back end of their career, could find a lot of opportunity and just the ability to grow something that hasn't been grown here before.
Well, John, that might be your new tagline, "We're on your way to somewhere."
Middle of nowhere, on your way to somewhere.
The other thing that I think is really unique about your location and kind of what you guys have going on is your sales tax is pretty phenomenal for a community your size. When you look across the state of Texas and you're looking at the amount of money is coming in sales tax and then also your hotel and motel tax, Dalhart is leading the way for communities of similar population. And I think that's a testament to you guys and what you've already done in economic development, but also an extreme opportunity for somebody who has those economic development skill sets that they can get in and really just empower the growth and vibrancy of the organization.
Yeah, I agree. Just being new to the community, I would second that. That was one thing that I looked at before moving here, was on the comptroller's website. And it's pretty staggering when you start to crunch the numbers of how much business they actually do here. 16,000 cars a day on average pass through Dalhart. The next EDC director, I believe, just needs to capitalize on that. And I need help figuring out how we can do that.
John, you mentioned a bunch of the amenities in the area. I've been up in the Panhandle and New Mexico, and one day plan on going to Colorado. But just in your area, and obviously, adjacent to you guys, there's a lot of natural recreational opportunities out there for somebody taking a long weekend or a summer vacation. Can you guys talk about any of those things?
Yeah, I mean, just think about this, guys. We're only about 3 hours from the Rockies. If you wanted to take a day trip or a quick weekend trip up to the mountains, whether it's in, the southern Rockies of New Mexico or even Colorado Springs, my wife and I just recently went up there for a quick weekend. Colorado Springs, which has the Broadmoor, Pikes Peak, a wonderful zoo, Seven Falls, you name it, they've got it. And it's 4 hours drive from Dalhart. Can you imagine that? I recently came back from Red River, New Mexico, played golf in Angel Fire, New Mexico, which is just right there. The guy that I was playing golf with was from the Dallas Metroplex. And he said, man, I wish I lived that close to the mountains because I'd be up here all the time. I think there is a huge opportunity for this new EDC director or potential businesses that want to move in or families that want to move here, is that we do have these wonderful amenities very, very close to home. Here's another quick statistic. There's a lot of higher level education within a 100-mile radius of Dalhart. We have a small community college here in Dalhart, but then there's West Texas A&M and Canyon, which is about 90 miles away, maybe a little bit more than 90 miles away, and Amarillo College, which is about 80 miles away. But then Texas Tech University is only a 3-hour drive from Dalhart. And I didn't even mention the schools that are in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Colorado, and New Mexico. When you think about Dalhart, we're closer to 6 other state capitals before Austin. We are strategically located in the sense that you can get to a lot of places very quickly and have fun adventures with your family, whether it's fishing, hiking, skiing, or just relaxing by a lake or a river. Ute Lake, which is in New Mexico, a lot of families around here go to Ute Lake for boating and fishing activities. You have pretty much all the different things that you would need if you're a single person or a young family or even somebody that's reaching retirement years. We have a great hospital here with great doctors, and there's additional investments going into that. We're excited about the opportunities and the possibilities here in town.
Yeah, that's great. It'll attract a lot of people between golf and hunting and hiking and fishing. That covers most people's hobbies somewhere in there. We've talked a lot about the opportunities for this new economic development director coming on board. What's going to be first on their list to take care of when they get there?
I really think it's just going to be meeting the community, getting settled in. I'm here to help in any way I can. We have a lot of moving pieces right now between the 33-acre housing development. We also do have a little over, 300 acres out at the industrial park that we're in the process of getting platted. We have a downtown revitalization program going on right now. There's just lots of little moving pieces that they're going to have to get familiar with, and I just think it'll take time.
Michael, being the recruiter for this position, can you talk a little bit about the benefits and salary and retirement package, all the good things that people need to know about?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this position is currently posted at a salary range of $75,000 to $95,000. The city is really excited to offer a comprehensive benefits package, which includes TMRS retirement, like most Texas municipalities. I think we also need to cover, if I'm living in another area, but I really want to move to Dalhart, after talking to JJ and John, they've convinced me that that's a great place to be. How does that look as far as if I take this position, is the city willing to work with the right candidate on, how they travel back and forth until they find somewhere to live. Often what we find in some of these communities we recruit for is it can be difficult to find a home that you want to move into right away. And what kind of things would you recommend to those candidates who are a little bit nervous about being able to relocate up to Dalhart?
I was just in this boat, about a year ago. It'll take a little time. It's my personal belief that the board will be willing to help in any way they possibly can. I think there possibly could be some concessions made to help in this transition.
Yeah, I mean, similar to JJ, I was in this boat about 4 years ago looking for a house. This was, right after COVID, and the market was on fire. There was limited houses available. There's more houses available today, but here's the thing. As we talked about earlier, we need more housing. It's something that could be a limitation, but at the same time, there's some really great homes that are on the market right now. And to JJ's point, I think we're going to be as helpful as possible to make sure that when we find this right person, that we make everything accessible for them to feel at home and to find the right home.
I'm sold. I'm not economic development director, so I'm going to have to wait for something else to get up there and the beauty that is in that area. If somebody was interested in applying, how do they go about that?
Yeah, you can always look at our website at www.clearcareerpro.com. Or if they already, have done their research and definitely just want to submit their cover letter and resume, you can apply by emailing apply.dalhart@clearcareerpro.com, and we'll get you uploaded into our system. We're really, really excited about all the candidates that are going to come in on this recruitment and really just see, hopefully, some great folks who are willing to serve and really be impactful for the city of Dalhart.
And one of the things that we should tell candidates is one of Clear's missions in starting the company was better contact with candidates. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because several people that I know have been through recruiters for municipal jobs and just don't like how they were treated. So can you talk a little bit about how Clear is trying to improve those things?
Yeah. We try to be as innovative as possible, hence this podcast and kind of how we do our recruitments. One of our founding values was on being a candidate-focused company. And so we call every candidate every week to update them about the position and make sure that they're well informed about where they stand, any future things that are happening with the hiring decisions, and making sure that they're in the loop. One thing I hated as a candidate was sitting there to apply for a job you're really excited about, and then a month or two later, you're trying to figure out, am I still in the process? And there's a ton of mental energy that goes into that process of worrying and or just going, hey, is this a transition that I need to make? And so we try to alleviate as much of that stress as possible. And as we move through this process and gather all the candidates, when we turn it over to JJ and allow them to move forward with our selection processes, the candidates will have been well informed. And I know that JJ, being a former candidate, has experienced this and will work through the process. Hopefully everybody that is in government or wanting to serve others realizes that the better we treat each other, the more impactful we can have on a broader scope. And so that's something that's unique with Clear and something we're really excited about moving forward.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know applying for a job and putting in all the effort and then not hearing anything at all makes you very sour to the process. I know I'm glad to be part of an organization that knows that issue and works to fix that as much as possible. Michael, can you tell me if, after listening to this podcast, they're not ready to apply, but they've got some other questions for you? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can always shoot me an email at michael@clearcareerpro.com, or my cell phone is 972-837-0916. Happy to take any calls that people have. And for us who've been in government for such a long time, and for JJ and John, we really just want to encourage folks to consider this and be prayerful and be excited about the opportunity.
Well, definitely. Okay, JJ and John, I'm going to need an answer from both of you on this last very important question. So can you guys tell me and all of our listeners what excites you most about Dalhart's future?
What excites me the most is I think we're poised to explode in the next few years, but keep our small town charm. I mean, we've got all the tools in the making, so it's poised and ready, I think.
I would agree with JJ. I mean, I think we're poised and ready to really have a dynamic next few years, and we just are really hoping that we find the person that can help guide and bring us to that point. As far as what makes us excited, would say there's just so many opportunities to improve not just the business community, but also the landscape of Dalhart going into the future. And I think that potential improvement is what excites me.
It's great to hear. It's been awesome getting to know both of you guys and a little bit more about Dalhart and this position. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you guys want to tell prospective applicants about the role or the city or anything we've left out?
I just want to reiterate, this is a giving community. Everybody's trying to reach the same goal, is to make Dalhart better. The synergy here is great, and it's just a great, great place.
And I would just say that we have a very experienced board of directors here at the EDC, but it's also a diverse group. We have realtors, we have business owners, we have folks in the agricultural sector, and everybody brings a different perspective, which even if you're new to economic development, you can lean on these people, including JJ, to help figure out how to move forward. I think don't let that be a hindrance to you, because the board is going to be there to help, just like this community is there to help. We didn't talk about this, but the Panhandle Gives program is something that a lot of folks here in town participate in. But outside of that, when there is a need, this community gives, whether it's to our schools and children or to folks who are battling a hard time from a health standpoint or financial standpoint. This community gives. And I think it makes us unique and attractive to not only a future EDC director, but future individuals and families that want to move here.
It's great. I'm excited for whoever's going to apply for this role. I would love to live within 3 hours of the Rockies myself. So maybe one day when I get to that next point, I'll have to look in the area. It sounds amazing up there. So, Michael, do we have anything else that we need to cover before we sign off?
No, not at all. We're excited about our normal podcast, where we're going to have some really great guests coming on outside of the position podcast. And so really, those folks who are following the Clear Voice and are following us on LinkedIn or our other platforms, just really excited to continue delivering content. One thing that we have coming up is a discussion on mental and physical wellness in public safety with some leading professionals who are members of our team, Annie Kistner and Jeff Spivey, some amazing national renowned public safety leaders. Be looking out for those things, but we're excited that you've taken the opportunity to listen to Dalhart. And again, JJ and John, thanks for letting us here at Clear Career Professionals be your partner in this recruitment. And we're just excited to see the candidates that you get in and see somebody come in and really be impactful for your community.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you succeed and do great things up there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Clear Voice podcast, brought to you by Clear Career Professionals. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us a like and share it with anyone who may be interested in the Economic Development Director position in Dalhart. To apply for this or explore other opportunities, visit clearcareerpro.com and be sure to follow Clear Career Professionals on LinkedIn for the latest job openings and updates.